What is up, YouTube? It is your boy Easy Coding, and we are here today to work on a Python final project. So for this project, I don't really know what I have to do just yet. I mean, the description is pretty long, but we'll get through it one step at a time. So this is for my Linux lab. It's just a 1 credit hour class, but it always feels like those classes have the most work that you have to put into them. So for this project, basically what it says is, well, let's just read it, right, to get a good understanding. So it says the COVID-19 pandemic enforces the education system to adopt virtual and blended teaching/learning modes. In these modes, instructors use special softwares and platforms to deliver lectures such as Zoom and Big Blue Button. However, it is challenging for instructors to keep track of attendance sheets and participation of students during online sessions. In this project, you will be designing and implementing a Python script that investigates and combines attendance and participation information of students attending several lectures of a specific course. Your script will process the input information and provide a clear and well-formatted output files. So, okay, the input sheets, we're going to have a CSV file, which is like a comma separated value file, I think, that includes a list of students in a course such as ENCS 3130-studentlist.csv. We're going to have meeting attendance reports, a folder with several attendance reports, and the name of the meeting will be according to the following convention. So it'll be the course code, then the month, day, year, -AR, for example, like that. And then the content of each attendance report will include names of attendees, the total attendance duration, and the names of the students could be different formats and might include some student IDs. So for example, we could have like the student ID dash the student's name, comma, the number of minutes they watched, or we could just have their name and the number of minutes, or we could have the name dash their ID and the number of minutes. So there's like 3 different ways their name could be inputted, but the end of each one will be a comma and the number of minutes they watched the live. Then we're going to have meeting participation reports, which is going to be a folder similar to the one above. And the only difference is it's going to have dash PR instead of -AR. And this one's going to show us the time of the post, the sender, and the receiver. So for example, we'll have a time, then from their name to who they sent it to, and then the actual message for all the students. God, this is kind of dense. And then for the output, we need to have a class attendance sheet, which is going to be a CSV file, and it's going to include the names of all the students in the student list sheet, which is the first thing. I wish they gave us an example of what the input was going to look like. That would definitely help. But okay, it'll give us the student list sheet. And then the symbol X is for students attending this meeting, and a symbol A is for students that are missing in their absence. This sheet is generated based on the student list sheet and the meeting attendance reports. The format of the sheet should be as follows. It should be the student ID, the student name, the date of each meeting, and then X or A depending on if they were present or absent. So I think the first thing we should do is just create like a mock-up of the student list, just to kind of like have it for testing purposes later on. So let me just kind of like shrink this a bit. And I think what we're going to do is create a file. And what was it called exactly? So it'll be like ENCS 3130-student list.csv. Press enter. Plugins supporting the CSV file have been found. Like, let's just install those plugins. Maybe it'll make things a little bit easier. Pretty sure CSV is like what Excel uses, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't we just, yeah, so it's installing those plugins right now at Excel Reader. And let's just give it some like mock-up information. I'm just gonna, it doesn't really say how this file will look like whenever we input it. Like I don't know if it's gonna start with the ID or their name or whatever, but I don't think that really matters. So let's just make up some fake students like 118, 2000, and then comma, Bob, Moore. So let's give another one like 119, 1234, comma, Billy Joe. And let's make up a third student. We'll give him a number of 120, and then 9876, comma, Jeff, wait, what? Okay, Jeff Smith. That should be good enough for now. It says PyCharm plugin updates, restart to activate. Okay, I guess we'll restart PyCharm just to get that going. Alright, so now we have support for CSV files, which is fantastic. You can edit the CSV settings. I think this is good enough. I mean, all that changed was just the color, but sounds good to me. Let's save this. I think 3 fake students is going to be enough for now. And it says that we're also going to have 2 more input files, one of which are going to be for the attendance, and the other one is going to be for participation. As far as that goes, oh, we got some people watching. What's up, Rutvik, Makar, and Sabri, something like that. What's up, guys? Welcome. Glad you could join us. But yeah, so let's also create some fake attendance and participation reports so we can use them later on. So it says it's going to be in a folder called, So we'll have a folder with several attendance reports. The name of the meeting attendance reports will be according to the following convention. But it doesn't say what the folder is going to be called, so I think we can just make one up. Let's go ahead and create a folder in here. So we'll say new directory, and we'll call this attendance reports. And we'll also create another one for participation reports. So now we've got 2 folders that are each going to contain lots of CSV, or no, just text files, really? Wait, what? Okay, it says the attendance report is going to be a CSV file, and it says the participation report will be a text file. I feel like that's a mistake. No, it isn't a mistake, because there is no commas here, is there? Well, the content of each meeting participation report will include messages posted by participants, and each post is going to have the time, the sender, the receiver, and the message. So yeah, I guess this is what it's going to look like. Okay, makes sense. Let's go ahead and create the attendance report. So it's a new file. It's a CSV file, and we'll give it the same example name. So ENCS 31. I think it should be 30. I think that's a typo or whatever. 3130, and then dash 03 dash 25 dash 2021 dash AR.CSV. And then as far as this goes, I think I'm just going to copy this information and paste it on in here. So the first student is this guy. Then we've got this line. Yep. Then this should be a new line, and this should be a new line as well. I don't know if we need this first line or not. I'll keep it for now, just so I can remember. I don't know if it's relevant, but we'll keep it. It's fine. So let's save the example attendance report, and let's create a mock-up participation report. So this is going to be a text file, and it's going to have this type of name. So similar naming, but it's a text file instead of a CSV file. So let's go ahead and create that, and paste in the name, and let's just copy and paste this example. So that should be good. Let's save this. How do you get an error inside of a text file? What? Okay, this should be a new line. Say, what is what? Unresolved. That's ridiculous. That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. How do you even get an error inside of a text file? A text file doesn't do anything. Oh, maybe it's in the name. There's a space here for some reason. Let's go ahead and just rename that. So, refactor, rename. Let's get rid of this space. Hopefully that fixes. What the heck? We have a red line under the colon for the time. But you cannot tell me that What? This is actually ridiculous. That's so bizarre. Okay. I'm just gonna ignore the error. I don't know why it's giving me one, but we're just gonna act like it doesn't exist and carry on. It's okay. Did I add this? Okay. Alright, that should be good. So now that we've got these basic files taken care of, I'm going to actually edit the names here because I want them to match like this information, right? So these are the example students they gave us. Let's go ahead and make these names match. So instead of all these fake names, I'm going to just go here, put a comma, space, and take off these numbers. So that's one student. And then this person has a number, so we'll copy that. Command X, go to the beginning, Command V, comma, space, we'll get rid of her. And we'll throw a comma right there. Get rid of that, and those. So now let's get rid of these like fake students. So now we've got some actual real students in here. And then for the participation report, I feel like these names should match those ones as well. So we have Eid, Mahmoud, Majd, Summer, Osama, Eid, and Summer. So these two names repeat. Then we've got these 5 students up here. So I think we should go ahead and add them to the student list. So go here, so 1192963, Elma, 7, and then we need this guy, so and here's his number, which is great. So just, whoops. So let's cut that and move it to the beginning, throw a comma. Who else do we have? This guy, Majd. So let's copy his name, give him a fake number. We'll say like 117, whoops, 117, and then we need 4 digits, so like 4444. Good enough. We need Summer. So let's copy her name, give her a fake number, 116, 5555, and Osama. Copy him, go there, and we'll say like 1178903. So that should be it for all of the mocked up input information as far as I can tell. So now it's saying for the output, what we need to do is, so we're going to have to generate a file that has their ID numbers, their names, and then X's or A's depending on if they were at that meeting or not. Then it also says we have non-valid meeting reports, which is a folder of several non-valid meeting attendance reports. So meeting attendance reports are some of the input files, and I think it's saying that some of the input files it's going to give us aren't going to be valid, and we're going to have to categorize those together. So it says each non-valid meeting attendance report will include entries that correspond to the meeting attendance report that was not reflected or considered into the class attendance sheet. Okay, and then we have to have a class score sheet, which is a CSV file that includes the number of posts or participations of all students in the student list sheet and the participations of each of them. This sheet is generated based on student list sheet and meeting participation reports. The format of the sheet should be as follows. It should be the ID, the name, the dates, and I guess how many messages they sent during that meeting. So this person sent 15 messages on this day. Makes sense. And then there's also going to be non-valid meeting participation reports, which is probably equivalent to the non-valid meeting attendance reports. Cool. So now it's going to talk about the actual code that we have to write. So it says the main script with an option parser. Use Python option parser to specify the following. We need to find the path to the student list sheet, the path to the folder of meeting attendance reports, the path to the list or to the folder of meeting participation reports, the path to store all output documents / folders. Your program should have an option to only consider students who have attended more than P minutes in the meeting as present and assign the symbol X in the class attendance sheet. Otherwise, they are absent and assigned a symbol A. So that basically means, so the class itself I think is it's like 2 hours 45 minutes, which is right around 155 minutes total, I think. 6, 12, 120. Yeah, 165, something like that. I'm not entirely sure. So I guess if a student doesn't watch more than like P amount of minutes, then they're automatically absent. So here it says P is set to 60. These two people were only there for less than 60 minutes, so they are technically absent. And then likewise, TB is the option to drop some entries at the beginning of all meeting participation reports. All entries within TB minutes of the first entry will be dropped and not considered in the class score sheet. So if TB is set to 1 minute, then the first 3 entries in this meeting will not be considered. Makes sense, and T is the same thing but from the end. Okay. We're going to have to do object-oriented coding, so you have to build your code by defining proper classes. We need an abstract class, and I need to implement it with all methods that must be created within any child class built from the abstract class. We need a main class, which must implement all methods in the abstract class. We need to have inheritance, create a child class from the main class for each course. Okay, and then all class members must be either private or protected, so nothing can be public. This is doing 5 days. Luckily we're starting a little bit earlier this time, because I would not want to be stuck on the last day starting this from scratch. Awesome. So now that we've read everything, all of these instructions, I think we can get started trying to write some of the code that goes inside of this. So let's see what we should start off with. Oh, we got some people. Okay. So it says we need to have an abstract class, a main class, and inheritance. And I'm trying to figure out what the abstract class should actually be. So let's go ahead and create a new Python file. And I don't even know what to name it exactly. I think, So it says we have to have a child class. from the main class for each course. So like, let's say like one course is calculus, right? That's going to extend the main class, which extends the abstract class. Or is the main class the abstract class? No, the main class implements the methods for the abstract class, and the abstract class just lines out what's inside of the main class. So then why do we even need the abstract class? I don't know. I don't know. But we'll go ahead and create a file. We'll just call it abstract because I don't know what to call it yet. And in here, what I'm thinking we should do, so we obviously need to create a class. We'll call this, I don't know, abstract. I'll change that later. And let's go ahead and create the, well, no. Because here we just kind of like label all of the functions that it's going to have. So what are the functions that a course is going to have to do? So if we have calculus 1, well, for starters, we're going to need to get the students. Python is not camel case. Get students. I get the students in the class, so get student names, I guess. That's one function we need. To be honest, I don't know. I can't remember how to create an abstract class in Python. Is this not how it's done? So tab, define get student names. Oh, do I have to like extend something? No, you don't extend in Python. Let's look this up. Abstract classes in Python. So it looks like the way that you make an abstract class in Python is by I just want to see the code. Okay, so class polygon ABC. What is ABC? By default, Python does not provide abstract classes. Python comes with a module that provides the base for defining abstract base classes, ABC, and the module name is ABC. ABC works by decorating methods of the base class as abstract and then registering concrete classes of the abstract class. So it looks like we have to import ABC and abstract method from ABC, and then we pass that in these parentheses, create the method names, and then just say pass. And then whenever a class extends the abstract class, we start overriding those methods. So I guess that makes sense. So let's go ahead and just copy the import statement and go back in here. We'll just throw that at the top. And then in here we need parentheses, and we will say ABC, capital. And then after we define a function, I guess we can pass in self, colon, we'll just say pass. So that is one abstract method for get student names. The next method that we're also going to need to do is define get attendance underscore sheets, and we will pass in here as well. We're also going to need a function to get the participation. So get participation sheets, pass in self, and return pass. What else do we have to do? So we have to get their names, get the attendance, which I completely misspelled, attendance, and participation sheets. We also have to, what else do we have to do? So for the output, we have to generate a class attendance sheet. So we have to say define, and I guess we'll call this gen underscore attendance sheet. We'll say self and we'll pass. We also need to, so we have to get the student names, get the attendance, get participation, we have to generate the attendance, generate the participation sheet, and we will pass. And then lastly, we have to, what else do we need to do? Oh, I think, yeah, and here they also like said abstract method above each of these methods, so I guess we'll just label those. We did import it, so I guess we might as well use it. We'll just paste that in the top of each one, so paste that there, paste it there, there, and there. I'm trying to figure out if there's any more functions we have to create. These are the only ones that are coming to mind. As of this moment, we also need the class score sheets, but that's kind of like the participation. I guess we'll call that score sheet instead of participation. So generate score sheet. Oh, and then the non-valid meeting attendance reports. So we'll say def generate underscore non-valid underscore meeting. No, non-valid attendance. Self and pass. And then lastly, we are going to need to define generate underscore non-valid participation. So I feel like that's everything we need for this abstract class. I might be forgetting something, but I mean, even if I am, it's not the end of the world. It says I misspelled participation somewhere. Probably right here, participation, non-valid. Is that not a word? Is the right word like unvalid or something? It's okay, they said non-valid in here, so I'm just going to match them. No worries whatsoever. It's okay, they said non. Okay. So now that we've got this abstract class at least kind of completed, I think the next thing we should do is move into the main class. We're going to have to import this, so let's see how they... So here they had polygon, then they created a triangle that imported polygon. The way they did that is just they created a class and then put polygon inside of it. So I think what I'm going to do is open up main. I'm going to close out all of these input files, and I'm going to say class course, I suppose, is going to just take an abstract, kind of like that. And whoops, that's not it. And then we just have to make sure we import that before we can even use it. So we'll say import. I think it's just like import abstract, right? Is that not how you do it? We don't want to install this. So maybe like from abstract, we import abstract. So now we don't get that error anymore. And now we have to start actually creating all of those methods, right? So let's start off with get student names. I'm just going to copy that line. And the way I think we can do this, so just to double check, yeah, so we don't get any errors for now, which is fantastic. So now we're going to override get student names and actually do what needs to be done. And the thing is though, with each course we do need to know the course ID, which I think, should this be in main or should this, we'll keep it here. We can always move this class to a different file later on if we need to. But yeah, so each course is going to have a course ID and the dates that we want to check, because that's how we access the input files. So let's go ahead and create a variable. We'll say course underscore ID, and by default let's just make that an empty string, I think. And then I think when we initialize a course, we're going to take in the course ID. That just feels like the most logical approach. And then we'll say like self dot course ID equals course ID. I think that's how it works in Python. Yeah, sounds good. And then as for the dates, I'm trying to figure out where we would get those from. So now that we have the course ID, we can access all of the attendance and participation reports of those, or like of that course. So like hypothetically, if the let me change the name of this actually, because this one's 3103. I want it to match, so let's just rename it to 3130. Okay. Oh, we got Rethanoth. I'm sorry, but I feel like I always butcher your name, my friend, and I apologize if I messed it up, homie. How's it going, brother? Glad you could join us. But yeah, so I feel kind of stuck, to be honest. So I'm thinking now, like the next step of what we gotta do is read in. So whenever we create the course, we're gonna ask for the course ID. It's gonna set that as a variable for the class. And then using the course ID, we should be able to read in the student, like the list of the student names for that course by just searching for the file with the course ID dash studentlist.csv, like this one right here. So I'm thinking we need to create a function. So we have a function in here, which is get student names, which is, yeah, so get student names. And I think the way we're going to get this done is by, how are we going to get this done? Let's think. We need to read in this file. This file is just going to be their student IDs, comma, their name. So what I'm thinking is when we call it, so in the initialize function, we are going to call get student names. So get underscore student underscore names. We'll say self. And then next, what I'm thinking we should do is maybe we should return a dictionary. Oh, bro, I'm glad you could join us, homie. Hopefully class went well, my friend. Yeah, you can watch me suffer and just be lost with this project because I don't know what I'm doing. And I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm just trying to fake it till I make it and hope for the best. So yeah, I think a dictionary is going to work for this. Possibly, maybe, maybe not. But let's go ahead and create one for each course. I feel like each course is going to have a dictionary where it's going to keep track of the ID and then the name as keys and values. I think we'll make the ID the key and the name the value. I think either way works, but IDs are just more consistent, kind of. So we'll say like students dict for dictionary, and we'll just set that equal to nothing at first, I think. And then whenever we create an instance of a course, we're going to read in the student list file, and then go through each line and then set this as the key and then this as the value. So what I'm thinking is best is for us to figure out how to read a file, because I don't remember how to do that in Python. My computer science teacher is being more of theory, man, bro. I hate whenever a teacher spends so much time explaining all these arbitrary things and talking about all of these random things that mean nothing to anybody. We just want to learn how to code. I don't know why they spend so much time talking about all this theoretical nonsense that none of us understand. It just kind of makes them feel like they're these geniuses. I hate that. First day of class with full questions. Yeah, I'm sure it was, dude. Hopefully the situation gets better out there. Hopefully it changes soon, man. Yes, we got to figure out how to read a file using Python, because I don't remember. So reading in CSV file with Python. So let's figure out how this works. So it says we got to import CSV, which is a library that I'm assuming is good for CSV files. And then their example says with open, and then the name of it, as CSV. Why is it a text file if they're treating it as a CSV file? Because ours is going to be a .csv. I don't know if this is going to make a difference or not. Okay, anyways, it says CSV underscore reader is going to be the CSV file, and the delimiter will be a comma. Line count will be set equal to 0, and then for row in CSV reader. Alright, bro. Hopefully you enjoy your class. Hopefully you learn a lot, and I will catch you later, my friend. Peace. I got nothing to help in coding. Hey, it's all good, man. It is all good, my friend. I just get bored coding by myself sometimes, and this is my own little solution for it. Yeah, enjoy your class, bro. Wish you the best. I don't feel like this is exactly what I need to be using. Let me see if there's other stuff online that can help. Let's check out this link and see what they've got to offer. So they've got, looks like they've got multiple approaches. CSV files with custom delimiters. Ours are going to be commas, so we don't need a custom delimiter. I mean, we can use them, but I just don't feel like it's that necessary. So let's see. Example 1 is import CSV, then with open the name of the file, comma R, which I'm assuming is for read, as file. Then we'll say reader equals csv.reader file, and then for row in reader, we're going to print that row. So let me copy this, and let's see how this works. So we're going to get rid of this import statement. We'll move that to the top. And then it says with open, and then we'll change the name of the file. So the name of the CSV file is going to be the course ID dash studentlist.csv. So I think what we can do is, let's say inf file equals self.courseid plus dash studentlist.csv, What's up, Kaja? I'm glad you could join us, brother. Or sister, I'm not entirely sure. Welcome, welcome. Do you have any like Python experience? By any chance? Yeah, let me create the input file name, and then I'm just going to get rid of this string and type in input file. And then let us run this code and see what happens. So let me create an instance of the course down here. So we'll say like, what we can do is you can say, I don't know, like C equals course, and we'll pass in a course ID of ENCS 3130, I think. Probably, maybe not. But yeah, that should give us access to this file right here. And then if it works perfectly, it's going to print out all of the contents of this file. So let's run the code. We get an error because we can't instantiate an abstract class course with abstract methods. Ooh. Do I have to test anything? Let me just comment all these lines out for now, and then I'll uncomment them as we get to them. So let's try running this one more time, and let's see what happens. You're back because your math class is boring. Welcome back, brother. Welcome back. What class are you in? What math class are you taking right now? I don't know if I can condone skipping class, but I appreciate you joining this. I appreciate you. Luckily, this code is actually working because as soon as we create an instance of the course and we pass in the course ID, it calls the init function. It stores the course ID that we send in as a parameter, and then it calls get student names, which goes and reads in the input file and then prints out each line that we retrieved. So the next step, so now instead of printing out each line, what we're going to do is store them in one by one dictionary. So the way we're going to do this is by saying students, well, let's think. So each row is going to look something like this, where it's going to have an ID number, a comma, and then a name. It is, let's go back here, and the way they got access to each thing, actually, so okay, great. So basically, whenever it printed it, it gave us a list with two